Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome back to the big show. Well, what the heck is going on with the election today? Was there another big freeze? Did somebody stumble and fall? Did somebody have to be let out by their bicep? Anything crazy like that happen? No, not necessarily that. Nothing too bad. What we're looking at today is going to happen after the James Show. There's supposed to be a press conference tonight. What's the big deal about a press conference? Well, under normal circumstances, it's not a big deal for a president to have a press conference. However, when this president says he's going to go out and unscripted, field questions from a gaggle of screaming reporters, well, it's got my attention. He hadn't done that in over 8 months. This will be his first one all year. My next guest will help me speculate on how he's going to do tonight. Debbie Schlussel is back on the James Show. Welcome back, Debbie. How do you think Biden's going to do at his press conference tonight?
Well, thank you. Great to be back. I don't know because it will depend. I know a lot of people say, it's a conspiracy theory to say that they put Biden on Adderall or whatever, highly focused drugs that are kind of like uppers. But I think he might be on those.
Well, of course he is, and that's okay. He should be. Look, if he's running around that bad, I want him on uppers.
Right. I agree with you because otherwise he's a doddering old fool who doesn't know what he's talking about, and this is the problem. So we'll have to see which Biden there is. They clearly didn't put him on those for the debate, which I think was a big mistake for them because he basically lost the presidency.
Whoa, hang on. That doesn't sound like the Debbie I know. I figure you would make the same assumption I did, that they put him on the drugs. It was just too late in the day and he couldn't overcome it.
They could be, but I think, it's an upper. So I think an upper can work any time of the day. I don't know, but you might be right. Because why would they screw that up? It's such a big moment. And why did they move this press conference to later in the day? And by the way, on a Thursday, later in the day, so basically the news is going to be Friday and over the weekend when people are not really paying as much attention. Although now they are paying attention, so it really doesn't matter when.
Well, listen, that one he did last Friday was clearly a media dump. You do it at the part that's not going to be in the election or in the news cycle until maybe the following Monday. Yeah, they buried that one.
Right. And, I think there are going to be a lot of very tough questions. And the interesting thing is, it used to be the only person that asked these questions was the great Peter Doocy of Fox News. Now he's being trampled on by all the liberal media who are racing to ask even tougher questions about Biden's health than even Peter Doocy. And that tells you that the mainstream media, the liberals that run it, they have decided they know Biden cannot win, and they have decided it's their job to get rid of him so that they can get somebody that maybe at least has a shot. But you and I know Jill Biden and Hunter Biden are not going to let this happen. Jill Biden said it's cool being first lady, and so now we have a country that's basically being run by a convicted felon. They're talking about Trump being a convicted felon. We've got Hunter Biden going to all these meetings. He's running the show. Three felonies he was convicted of. So he's running the show, and a fake doctor, Jill. It's very scary. And, the thing is that now you see, I actually thought Joe Biden would have already been out of the race by now. You and I had a discussion, I think over the weekend or last week, when Abigail Disney, who was the first of the big Democrat donors to openly say that she is not giving any more money unless Biden drops out. And I thought all they need is one other donor or one other prominent Democrat office holder, and he's gone. But there have been so many, and he's not leaving. And I don't think he's going to be gone from there unless there is a chorus so loud.
Well, listen, then they shouldn't have had this freak out in the first place. If they were going to stick with him, they shouldn't have allowed the conversation to be had. Because now is the media, what are they going to do? Are they going to pivot back to saying that he's fine? Because they lied about him being fine for the last 5 years. All of a sudden, they've admitted what the rest of us have been joking about for half a decade. And are they really going to try and pull off he might have lost a little bit, but he's fine?
They might. Stranger things have happened. But you know what I think is going to happen? I mean, yes, there's this ever-growing chorus. Today you had the first prominent Senate Democrat calling for him to resign. On August 3rd, 1974, so almost 50 years ago, Barry Goldwater, the senator, and I think his name was John Rhodes, who was either the House leader or the highest-ranking Republican in the House. They came to the White House and they told, and excuse the noise,
that's all right.
They told Richard Nixon, your support is gone. You must resign. And 4 days later, August 7th, he resigned. But the Democrats don't have that long of a time to do that, because if they're going to pick somebody else and he's going to be gone, they have to pick that person like yesterday, because the American people need to meet that person, get used to that person. The mainstream media has to propagandize on behalf of that person and say why they're so much better to lead the free world than everyone else. And I think it's too late even now. And then plus you've got that electronic roll call vote we talked about last week that's either over the phone or online. And now they're trying to move it up to June 21st even to keep Biden in there. So we'll see what happens.
To July 21st.
Right. Oh, what did I say? Yes, July.
Yeah, you said June. All right, listen. So we have AOC saying earlier this week, Biden is our guy. Listen to this.
I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in this race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. He has reiterated that to the public. Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him.
All right, so the insiders inside the Beltway are kind of calcifying around Biden even harder. The outside liberals, outside the Beltway, the George Clooney's of the world, the people on TV, they seem to be moving away from Biden. How odd is it? Do they know something we don't know inside the Beltway?
I don't think so. I think maybe they owe the Bidens favors, and maybe something happened that they owe him a lot, and they have to do this. Or maybe somehow they enjoy seeing Jill Biden and Hunter Biden at cocktail parties. Or maybe they have some kind of internal polling that shows that Kamala Harris, who would be the choice, I mean, they have to pick her, is going to do even worse. But I think they're out of touch because he is going to lose. And the reason he's going to lose is because now the truth has finally gotten out there. And everyone has always said about him on the right, and we were just, making up stuff. It was fiction. We had no proof. Well, now we had the proof at that debate, and he can't go back. And his interview with George Stephanopoulos did not help him either. He sounded terrible.
So what about the idea that if the Democrats replace him and you admit that he's mentally incapable and, they got to follow their own rules and say, listen, this is a mental thing. How does he stay in office until January? Then wouldn't he be unfit and deserve a 25th Amendment treatment? Well,
listen, if he were smart, or I shouldn't say him because he doesn't care. He doesn't know what's going on. But if the Dems were smart, they would have him, walk out of there, because then Kamala Harris would be the president and she would be running for election as the incumbent president. If they were smart, that's what they would do.
Yeah.
But
they must not like her.
I don't think they like her at all. I don't think they like, it's the cartoon that they had in 2020, right after the election, where it showed Kamala Harris, saying, Joe, we did it. And then there's this picture of Joe in a wheelchair and she's throwing him over the cliff. Remember that cartoon? That cartoon
there you go.
Has more meaning today than it did 4 years ago. And they know that that's her view, and that, she and Obama are secretly scheming behind the scenes to get rid of Joe Biden. He was the first black president. He wants to create the first black female president, and he's scheming to get that done.
Let me push pause on my Debbie remote. Can you continue for another segment with me?
Yes.
We'll continue with Debbie Schlussel, asking some of the big questions and getting prepared for the big President Biden press conference tonight. Because the question is, can he rehab his image, or is this press conference going to sink him? Look, you don't want to watch a press conference because it's whoop-de-doo. It's just some guy that's going to come out and take questions. But you might see the ending of a presidency tonight. We'll continue with Debbie Schlussel next on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. We continue with the great Debbie Schlussel on the James Show. In preparation for tonight's press conference, not supposed to be that big of a deal. It's not supposed to be a monumental novelty for your president to go out and field unscripted questions in the evening from the press corps. But that's where we're at, Debbie. Do you think you'll be able to get through it just fine?
No, I think we already saw with George Stephanopoulos where I think anyone who has even half a brain would know the kinds of questions he was going to ask. So you know that Biden was very carefully coached, just like he was for the debate. He took the whole week before it off, and he still stumbled and screwed up. And the same thing with the Stephanopoulos interview. And even Stephanopoulos, who now has since apologized for saying so, said that he doesn't think he can serve another 4 years and that he is not competent. He didn't use the word competent.
Well, that was a hidden camera moment, so we can assume that was the honest answer from George Stephanopoulos as well.
Exactly. And, of course, he only apologized because the powers that be at ABC News and all his bosses and also in the Democrat Party told him to do so and pressured him. But yeah, he even said that I don't think there's anything he can say or do tonight, even if he's perfect and spot on, that will remedy what has already happened. People already know the cat is out of the bag. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. And I think he is going to stumble tonight because I think the media is going to be tougher than ever on him. Like I said, they've decided that he can't win, and they need their next person in there who can win, so they need him out. They're going to be tough on him.
That's another thing that just has my jaw drop to the floor is how quickly the media turned on him. Because it's not believable for the media to act like they just found out at the debate that this guy's slipping. We've been screaming it at him, and they've been telling us we're evil or dumb or just bad people for saying it or bringing it up. Really just ignoring all the times he fell off a bicycle or fell upstairs or had some sort of freeze or had to be let off stage or wandered off or does that weird thing where he just stares with his mouth open. We've been seeing it for the last 4 years, and for the media to turn on him, I am a little surprised at how much they've turned on him. I mean, you've even lost George Clooney, Debbie.
Mr. Amal Clooney, yeah. And, I'm not surprised that these guys have all of a sudden decided this, but they've known exactly like what you said. I mean, Chuck Todd, the former host of NBC Meet the Press, still an NBC political analyst and still has a show on MSNBC that nobody watches. And he said that a Biden aide told him during the first administration, like at the beginning of the administration, that Biden cannot run again, that he's that incompetent. And that was a few years ago. It's only going to get worse. Anybody who has had a grandparent or an elderly relative who has dementia or who is, in the throes of that at the beginning of it or even in the middle, it never gets better. It always only gets worse. And Joe Biden is worse now than he was at the beginning of his presidency, which is why he did so poorly at that debate and could not keep in the bottle, the way he really is. They all knew. They know. They've been around him. They've been on Air Force One with him. They've had private meetings with him, all these people in the media. They know. They knew and they know, just like they knew Hunter Biden's laptop was Hunter Biden's laptop and not Russian propaganda. They knew.
Well, look, if you're supposed to be a journalist and you didn't know, like you just found out on June 27th, quit your job. You don't deserve to call yourself a journalist. Someone else needs to be taking that job and writing those stories and doing those investigations because you are terrible at your job if you didn't notice that.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think you've ever been in the Biden press
pool? No.
Room press. Yeah, I don't think you've been there. And you've known these things. I haven't been in the Biden White House or in his press briefings or anywhere around him. And I know. And we've known for years. So how would they not know? They know.
All right. Debbie Schlussel, tell the guys listening where they can find you outside of WBAP.
On Twitter at Debbie Schlussel. On Instagram at Real Debbie Schlussel. On Facebook, Debbie S. fan page. DEBBIE.
And it may change from time to time. Debbie has this fun habit of getting her social media platforms erased just magically. I've noticed you've had to rebuild a few times, so
Yes, I have.
Isn't that so annoying? Same thing over here. All right, there she is, the great Debbie Schlussel. So what do you think? You think Joe Biden's going to get through this press conference all right tonight? Because why is the press pushing for this? Well, some of them want him out. And if it's going to be some of the people, even though they're on Team Blue, if they want him out, are they going to try and trip him up? Because listen, I'm not bragging. I'm not like super journalist or super talk show host or anything. But if you brought Joe Biden in here and you sat him down and I got a 10-minute interview, hell, a 5-minute interview, 4-minute interview, I could end his presidential campaign today. Like, I know what to ask. And if they wanted to do it, they could. Are they going to? Is the press going to sink him tonight now that they have the chance? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. This is The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome to The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Well, look, if the Democrats want Joe Biden gone, they can't make him leave. But if he's going to be doing a press conference tonight, which he is, if there's someone in that crowd that really wants to seek his presidency, this is going to be the chance to do it. Are they going to have knives out? Is this whole press conference, is this going to sink Biden? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. If George Clooney was in the press pool, I would think it would be over. What do you think? Let's ask Kevin in Stephenville. You're on WBAP. What do you think, sir?
Hey, well, yeah. Well, first off, I don't think Biden's going to drop out because whatever he does tonight, in his view, and in Jill's view, and in Hunter's view, it's going to be fine. So I don't think he's going to drop out. What's going to go on tonight? I do want to say one thing. I've been on the road all day. I've been listening to talk radio all day. The one thing I haven't heard is President Trump re-winning the presidency is only half the battle. We have to expand our lead in the House, and we have to retake the Senate to set him up for success. And nobody is talking about holding those guys, those senators, those Democratic congressmen who have known about this. We've all known about this. They lie just as much as the press secretary has. We need to start pounding on those guys. Pounding on them. That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Well, that's a solid point. You know, there's only so much a president can do if he doesn't have the Congress and Senate behind him. But also on top of that, think of how many times that President Trump had to appoint someone to a cabinet position or some other, public position, and it ended up biting him in the butt. So he's got to get all those right too. And Kevin, I wish the cabinet officials didn't have that much power, but he's got to do a better job of just vetting those people first. And the things that I think he got right, and I don't know because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not in deep on this legal stuff, but I hear from people who know more about it than I do that he did a really good job getting judges appointed and sort of remaking the federal courts. And you sort of see that reflected in what happened at the Supreme Court level. It's sort of a 6-3 majority you got going on now for the conservatives. And look, but Biden got to do one Supreme Court justice, and if he doesn't repeat, then that's probably all he's going to get if he doesn't win again in November. So you look at what did Trump get to do? Trump got to do like 3 really quick, just bam, bam, bam. So what was that? Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, right? Yeah. See, I can remember stuff sometimes. So yeah, that's some of the big stuff that's at stake. To where even if you're a disinterested third party, you really got to start thinking hard about some of those secondary effects that happen with these elections. Who all is he going to get to a point? But yeah, I've always found the process that of gridlock to not be as bad as other people think it is. I'm a fan of gridlock, and you should be more of a fan of gridlock, unless you already are, because I think that's what the founding fathers intended. People would say, well, this is a dysfunctional government. You can't get anything through it. You've got to get a majority of the House and more of a majority of the Senate, and the president has to be on board for anything to pass. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what the founding fathers intended. That's not the system dysfunctioning. That's it following the plan. That is the plan. That is the system. Gridlock's a pretty good thing. And then you also got to remember what is getting gridlocked is the bill to slash the size of the government getting gridlocked? No. Now, if anything's getting gridlocked, it's a tax increase or a spending increase or something you don't agree with anyway. So I'll gripe more about gridlock when I see something I actually like getting gridlocked. But the point still stands. You're not wrong. Our new friend from Stephenville is right. There's a limit to what he can do unless he gets the House and Senate. But where's the optimism? You don't think that having Mr. Magoo on the top of the ticket is going to have some trickle-down effect on the down ballot races as well? The Republican hold on the House is tiny. What is it, like 8 seats? Very reasonable to expect that to expand. Senate's going to be a little more difficult. It should be. Only a third of the seats are up every election cycle. Only a third of the seats are going to be at play in November. But what do you have to get from I think, what are they, like 2 or 3 away in the Senate? So it's possible. However, just wait for the delicious meltdown. And that was something I was surprised how much I enjoyed the meltdown in 2016, because you already had these people, and you and I were watching in amazement as these people who like Trump and the media and the politicians and your lefty friends and Saturday Night Live and Hollywood and all the musicians and everyone liked Trump until he said, oh, I'm going to be a Republican and run for president. And then all of a sudden he became the worst person ever. And within like a 2-year span, so many people have been just trained and had their appetite sharpened to hate this guy so much that when he won, they were so surprised and they were so caught off guard because all the polls were wrong and they kind of freaked out. And that was kind of fun. Imagine this freak out. You're going to have to board up the windows again. And not that I enjoy, the destruction of small businesses or whatever, but if it upsets you that much, maybe you should. Maybe you deserve to be upset. Randy and Rockwall, you're on WBAP. What do you think?
Hey, I am looking forward to tonight's press conference, but Biden can't drop out. He has to try his best, and he's going to fail, because if he drops out, he can't protect his family. His son is going to be going to prison. His brother is going to be investigated. His daughter is going to be investigated. His daughter's probably going to come out with, how old was she when he was still taking showers with her? Everything completely melts down. He can't drop out.
Well, I disagree. And let me tell you why. I'm not saying like these people don't deserve to go to jail, but we were told Hillary Clinton has to win in 2016 or she's going to go to jail with all the obvious illegal stuff that she's done and the trail of dead people behind her and all the stuff Clinton's done and all the money they've got from all these awful sources, and nothing happened to her. So what would be different about this?
I don't think that Biden holds the power that Clinton's held. I don't think that he has the loyalty that the Clintons held.
Yeah, but let me put it like this. When the FBI took the Hunter Biden laptop and hid it for a year and didn't let anyone know about it and covered for him, and then the intelligence community went out and lied, 51 current and former officials signed that letter saying this has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. They weren't doing that on behalf of Joe Biden. They were doing that on behalf of the Democrat Party. They were doing that on behalf of the elites, the cause, the deep state. They'll still protect him after he's gone, even if he is just a drooling vegetable, because it will tear down, it will erode their base of support with just some people in the electorate will lose support for him.
Yeah, but I just think that he doesn't hold the power that the Trumps do, that the Clintons do. And I think everybody's going to be fleeing him like a dog with rabies.
Well, we're going to find out in about 4 months, aren't we? I like your theory, though, Randy. I thank you very much for calling in. That's Randy and Rockwall making some good points on the James Show. If you want to be next, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. That press conference is going to be live here. And that's in what, like an hour from now? Bushman in that press conference in like an hour, 5:30 or something? Anyway, I'll knock that down when we get back. It's the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Come see me live. I'm going to be doing a remote broadcast. These live broadcasts are something rare for the James Show, but it's going to be at the All-Star Village. So I'll be in Arlington, centrally located, so you can't see I'm too far away, but I understand if you have to work or whatever. I get it. But if you were going to go to the All-Star Village anyway and bring the kiddos, or maybe just go by yourself because you're a big old baseball fan, time it to when I'm out there. Come say hi. I'll be out there a little bit before the show, and I'll be out there a little bit afterwards, but I ain't going to sit out there all day. So come by, say hi, take a selfie, judge my appearance. It'll be a good time. For more information, WBAP.com. But you know where all the All-Star stuff is happening down there, Globe Life Field, Choctaw. I'll be in the Esports Coliseum. We're talking about Joe Biden's upcoming press conference tonight, which is right now penciled in at 5:30. And the Casey Bartholomew theorem that no political press conference starts on time is in effect. It has been 100% accurate ever since I first noticed him say it. So that aside, we're expecting to carry it live here on WBAP whenever it does happen. Greg and Alan, you're on WBAP. What do you think, sir?
I wouldn't be surprised if they give old boy a hot shot of something and just give him a heart attack.
Who is they? Because the doctors that are they're probably on his side.
Somebody.
They don't want him to die.
Yeah, somebody gonna give him a heart attack.
Well, he's gonna give them a heart attack. The people that are supporting him every time he talks, because every time he opens his mouth could potentially be the end of this whole concept that Biden is going to be the candidate in the fall. Are you saying you're below 50% on the belief that he is going to be the candidate?
I don't think he's going to be the candidate.
If you had to put a number on it, how likely do you think he is? Because I'm at 51%. He's going to be the candidate. You sound like you're about at 20%.
I'm about 30, 35, somewhere around there.
Fair enough. I mean, you can't take it down to zero because I'm surprised he hadn't dropped out yet.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you very much, Greg and Alan. Let's end the show today with some fun fear-mongering, right? You wanted to check out, make sure some of our lefty friends are okay. They're really worried about Trump winning in the fall, or in the fall. Joy Reid saying anything R is toxic. This is a host on MSNBC, and she does like her own little side videos on TikTok and Twitter and just online too. But anything R is toxic.
That means anything with the R on it is toxic. Anything with the R on it is going to take your birth control. Anything with the R on it is going to make you register and take the military preparatory test in high school so that you're ready to be cannon fodder for them, to be deployed on the streets of the United States to shoot Americans who are protesting. They're going to take away your education.
Hang on. Is there one Republican that wants to shoot protesters? Like, is anyone, like in the history of the Republican Party going back to Abraham Lincoln, has that ever been anything a Republican has said, yeah, we should just start shooting them?
They're going to take away your education. They're going to take away your opportunity to go to college. They're going to take away your books, your history. They're going to take away your right to even know the history of this country.
This is the real fear mongering. These people are just working themselves into a lather, creating this horrible Thanos type caricature of their Republican neighbors. This is some pretty divisive stuff. This isn't bringing people together. Good Lord, calm down, lady. And she's not even done.
They're going to replace it with so-called patriotic education. They're going to get rid of the Department of Education, meaning no more Pell Grants, no more money for school, no more student loans, no more equality for girls' sports. All of it gone, replaced with this white Christian nationalist insanity. And they want to do that not just federal, but state. The Republican Party at the state level is just as bad or worse. Baby, ladies, gentlemen, friends, nothing else matters, okay? Nothing else matters but stopping Trump, the Republican Party, and Project 2025 in November. You have 119 days to get right with that and get comfortable with that. That's all that matters, okay? And the only way to stop them is with our votes.
Wow. That does not paint a very positive picture of her Republican neighbors. The definition of a bigot, if you go to Merriam-Webster.com, is a person who is obstinately or intolerantly devoted to his or her own opinions and prejudices, one who regards or treats the members of a group with hatred and intolerance. Joy, you're a bigot. Like by the definition in the dictionary, you ma'am, that is bigotry. And it doesn't go both ways. I don't have great hatred or intolerance or some great devotion against the other group or against her even. I think she's just horribly misled by a bunch of propaganda and just going to be surprised to find out that me and her, we agree on more things that we disagree on, and she should really be on the same team as us. I am not the one you should be fighting. I am not holding you back. I'm not the one inflating your currency. I'm not the one getting involved in overseas wars that you got to send $200 billion to. I'm not the one that was doing all the stimulus spending that helped inflate the currency to begin with. I'm not your enemy. I don't hate. I promise. I don't hate you. I don't want to slap birth control out of your mouth, and I don't want you to dress like the Handmaid's Tale. I'm not going to make you do blessed be the fruit. I don't want to control your uterus. Calm down. This is going to be a good press conference in about a half hour. You'll hear it live on WBAP. In the meantime, the James Show podcast lives on WBAP.com and the WBAP app. And also you can search for it wherever you're already listening to podcasts. Go check that out. And remember, I'm doing the live broadcast. You can come see me at the remote at the All-Star Village Monday and Tuesday in Arlington. I'm James Parker. This has been the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.